Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tattooing Network.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
John Archiquette.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Matt Turner.
I'm not afraid.
And Joshua Gray.
You will be.
What's going on, Outriders? John, Josh, and Matt back again on your Legion Outriders X podcast.
Yes,
Solve for X.
we have rebranded.
What's the variable?
The variable is how many
Number
hosts
of hosts.
we have.
It's going to be
Okay.
2.3 this week.
So this
yeah.
week it's 3 bodies anyways.
Yeah, I'll be ducking out probably at some point because, of course, I was in a room with more than 3 people in it, so I got whatever sickness they were.
You have the kennel cough.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Ugh.
I've got the colic.
Well, what is it about you being in? Anytime you leave Las Vegas, you come
So,
back with the crud.
I
You have
think
the
I
celebration
figured it
cholera.
out.
That's
Is
what you
because
have.
I am such a hypochondriac most of the time. Anytime I touch money when I'm at the register, I've got like hand sanitizer right there.
Who uses money?
Yeah. Okay.
What
So the
is
few people
this?
that do. And I'm so paranoid about germs because my wife was public health for 20 years.
Okay.
And she drilled that home into my brain. So, but I think it's left my immune system blasted and weakened for, just the casual, like, oh, you're in a room with 5,000 people. Guess what? You can't frickin' sanitizer your brain.
Does she walk around with like a thermometer gun and make sure all of your meat is cooked to the proper temperature?
Oh, yeah, baby. I'm always at the proper temperature.
Ew.
Yeah.
No.
Pretty much.
Gross.
Oh, so it's nice to have all of us here together in one room.
It's
again.
been a minute, hasn't it?
Yay!
But now that we're all here,
We have solved for X.
we have solved for X.
Yay!
All right, so
2.92.
for those of you guys who weren't listening last week, Matt, you were at Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
And you got, 3-4 Vaders?
Yeah, at least. Well, I've got bids on them right now on eBay. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm going to need that $5,000, by the way. So
We are introducing a new Patreon tier.
Yeah.
The $500 buy Matt a Vader tier.
Jeez. Yeah, so I got stories on that stuff. But where do we want to start? We've got the main segment today. We've got all this news and whatnot.
Yes, we got some good stuff.
Yeah.
We've got all of the Star Wars Celebration news that you're bringing us. You got a chance to talk to a few insiders while you're there, so we'll get some news on that. We have, of course, the general Star Wars news. And
We're very much in danger of becoming a general Star Wars podcast this week, just
Right.
because there's that much stuff.
There is a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it was actually, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But I got to talk to a lot of general Star Wars podcast guys that are out there. And
Oh, really? Nice.
Cool bunch. Yeah, there's a.
Did you
whole
get them
different-
to plug our show on their show?
I don't know. Maybe
Fail.
I don't. Well, you go listen to them all. And let me know if they say anything. Okay.
and then, of course, we're going to talk about introducing new players to the game. Now, we've been, we're just over a year now in this game, but I've seen the last couple months just a huge influx of new players.
The game has caught its second win. Big
Agreed,
time.
Yeah. And, we're seeing it locally, we're seeing it globally through, social media. So in order to kind of cater to that, if they're jumping in on our podcast and all of a sudden we're going off on as advanced tactics as we get into.
Yeah.
They need somewhere to start, and we're not going to send them back to our first podcast and let them listen to us speculate about how great the T-47 is going to be.
Speaking about us talking about, how, we're the source or not the source, I do have a correction I need to make from last week. Yeah. FFG loves to put out fuzzy cards, so I misread the critical keyword.
Oh yeah.
So it's not change it to a hit, and then so it just changes surges to crits. That's it. That's all it does. If you're listening to me in this podcast for like hardcore advice on this game,
Just happy it wasn't me for once.
you're
so.
in the wrong place.
Thanks, Josh.
So yeah, no worries.
So you can go ahead and correct yourself on that. I will not correct myself on the statement that Critical X is demonstrably better than Impact X.
Yeah, I think it's debatably better.
Whatever
Yeah,
it was.
That's what it is.
It's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, it is.
Love you. No, and then so we're gonna go into how to get into the game, what models to start with, where you should look at expanding your collection, and how to play with the models you do have.
With an
Poorly.
eye towards the future.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been playing this game for a year, and I play my models poorly.
In our new segment entitled, "Oh, is that how that works?"
All right, before we get too far into that, Matt, What was it like, man? What was Celebration like?
Dude, so it was really good. I was we have a little group chat on Facebook, and I was sending pictures and updates I was going through. But basically, I was down there Thursday through Sunday and just trying to soak it all in, including all the plagues and viruses, apparently. But Thursday was kind of the when the rubber meets the road and the absolute shock. Like, we got there 2 hours before the doors even opened for the main exhibition hall, and we were not the furthest back there, but we waited there for a while. We got in, went straight to the Fantasy Flight booth, and I was like, "Where's the Vaders?" They're like, "We sold out." I was like, "Oh, really?" They're like, "Yeah, we only have X amount each day." And I'm sure a lot of people have heard this already, but it was kind of a little bit of a cluster. They were definitely not prepared for the amount of people. I mean, anytime you say con exclusive with anything of these things, that is Star Wars fans' programming. Is, I must have this right now,
Sure,
whether I actually need it or not, but I'm going to get it because it's going to be worth something to somebody.
If I'm a Vader collector, that's an awesome piece and an awesome sculpt.
Oh, yeah,
so,
for sure.
I don't even play this game, but I'm going to buy it.
Plus, with the get a free Sabine pin that's event
Right.
exclusive
Yeah.
with a $30 purchase,
Yeah.
which happens to
So
be.
that's funny you mentioned that, because that was actually a big part of Star Wars Celebration. I had no idea about that. There's like a culture of they have like these exclusive pins that come out each year.
Yeah.
that you can get in certain
Yeah, pin
places.
traders.
And people, they pin trade. Like, that's a huge part for some people. Like, people are like, "Hey, you want to trade that Boba Fett?" I was like, "No, that's literally the only one I've got, and that's the only one I really care about." So
Right.
Unless, you're throwing a Boba Fett in the deals for some reason. But, and then Thursday, so we were right there. We basically walked around. I spent way too much money getting art prints and stuff like that. It was fantastic. They have a lottery. So each of the big panels each day. So there was the Episode 9 panel on Friday. Saturday was the Galaxy's Edge for Disney with a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. Sunday was Mandalorian.
Which looks awesome.
Yeah, and then Monday was the 20th anniversary Episode 1 panel. Whatever. Obviously, there's tens of thousands of people. I heard 50,000 people on just the Thursday. I don't know how many people actually attended. So it was packed. It's a big area, but it was packed in there. And they did lotteries because each of the theaters can only hold, 25,000 people or something like that.
Okay.
So obviously not everybody get in there. So they did these lotteries. So it's like, okay, you can get priority seating, get into the main hall, go see, Daisy Ridley and, John Boyega, all these guys, and we'll talk about Episode 9. So me and my wife won none of those. We got none of the panels. Like, whatever, so we'll go to one of the overflow streaming rooms and we'll just watch it there live. I've heard it's supposed to be a lot of fun there too. They'll send in work. Davis will come on by and say hi and all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
General Hux is off in the streaming room.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, he wasn't there.
Matt enters
Percy Weasley was lurking in the wings.
Matt enters the lottery, and the only panel he got invited to was the Jake who wants to Skype Jake Lloyd in prison.
Lloyd in prison, yeah. That would have been. That's exclusive.
Actually, that would be kind of fun.
Put your hand up against the screen. Be like, "Oh,
are you an angel?"
I'm a prisoner, and my name's Anakin.
Yeah. So the wife wanted to go stand in line for the Star Wars Celebration store itself. That's all the swag they come out with that year. And I was like, well, I'm going to go watch in the overflow rooms for Episode 9 because that's what I'm here for. I want to see the stuff on that. Mm-hmm. So I find out one of the rooms, it's the one that's furthest away from everything. I was like, okay, it'll be the least packed. Let me go in there. They're like, hey, did you win a lottery? When I go up there, I was like, no, that's why I'm going to the overflow room. Oh, no, you had to win one for the overflow rooms, too.
You're kidding me.
No. I was like, are you joking? He's like, yeah, you should have had an email that said whether you got one of the viewing rooms or anything. I was like, no. So I came to Celebration. How am I supposed to see this? Like, well, you can go back into the exhibition hall, and there's the live stage.
Wow.
I was like, what? So I didn't get my Vader. I wasn't going to be able to see any of my panels. I was a sad cowboy right there. But bright side up. So I actually went into the exhibition, the live stage, and once I figured out what was going on, it kind of brought me around a little bit. But basically, they have the Star Wars show. I don't know if you ever watch it on YouTube, but it's like their weekly, content.
Andy Gutierrez,
yeah, all those guys. So they're all there, and they have this giant stage with all the monitors set up there, and they're basically live streaming everything. But it's like standing room only. There's 1,000 people crowded around the stage. Pretty cool though overall. The real benefit was that after the panels would finish, like they very often the actors would come out. So I got to see like John Boyega. I was like 30 feet away from him. Anthony Daniels, they'd bring him out on stage and talk. And we saw Dave Filoni like 3 times because he was there for
everything,
basically. But it was actually really cool. And overall, I had a great time. I'm a little sad I didn't get, the exclusive. I did get to talk to...
But you did get an exclusive because you scooped everybody in the Legion sphere with the Obi-Wan card.
I want to thank the unnamed FFG employee that was like, so you like Legion then? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I didn't know, but apparently they're okay with this. But if you go look at the back of the box, they've got Kenobi's card. I was like, really? And yeah, I scooted my butt over there and took a picture and then apparently cropped out the points cost in the first one.
Yeah, because everybody was like, how much does it cost?
Yeah. So I sent a second one.
Down.
But the signal was so bad, it took 2 hours for it to show up. But it was pretty crazy. But on Sunday, it was basically the Vader thing. Obviously, all the Legion players are very upset whether they got one or didn't, whatever. But I did get to talk to a couple of the FFG guys about it. So the idea was that they had 500 of these Vaders to do for the entire weekend.
Okay.
They were doing 100 a day. And it was first come, first serve. They didn't have any way to track whether somebody had bought one multiple times at different days. And the trouble is that the VIPs, part of the Jedi Master Badge, they paid so many $100 extra for.
It was like $850.
$850.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, me and the wife actually tried to get that, but they sold out in like the 2 minutes.
30 seconds.
It took us,
Wow.
So, but they got 30 minutes before the exhibition hall opened up for these people to come in. And they basically just get bought out every day. So the first day, they're like, oh, make sure you're at the front of the line tomorrow. So they're like, cool, all right. Literally, we were at the front of the line. I was at both entrances. I was at the further one. My wife was at the closest one. She scooted straight there, and still, they were just already sold out by all the VIPs.
I heard that on a few of the days, the VIPs didn't even get a chance to buy it because other vendors had
I heard that
exhibitors had
too.
gotten
So
it too.
I can't speak to that because I didn't ask specifically about it, but it was pretty nutty. But so I was talking to Evan Johnson. He's the marketing manager that was out there. Really nice guy. But I got to ask him a couple of questions. We actually had an interview I recorded with him, but one of my mics crapped out halfway through.
Was one of the questions you asked him, since he's the marketing guy, where's my Imperial Specialist article?
No, I did talk to the guy that actually does write those articles. Very nice gentleman whose name eludes me at the moment, but he did not. He said it was not intentional that he releases articles the day after we record. I don't think he knows who we are. So
Probably not. Yeah.
But I talked to Evan, and basically so to paraphrase the conversation, it was pretty short. It was really busy in there, and I was grateful he took the time to talk. But FFG, this is like their third time going to Star Wars Celebration. It was his first time there. This blows them all out of the water. They were packed that entire weekend. They were demoing more than just Legion. They had Destiny. They had a room that they were running Star Wars RPG campaigns in, which is awesome.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. X-Wing obviously was there too. And then they had all their cases set up with the new miniatures. Luckily, the new, Clone Wars box. But it just kind of blew them out of the water. And that's why I think they kind of got into trouble with the Vaders, because they weren't expecting to be that popular. But they were actually pretty dang close to the entrance, and the foot traffic kind of flowed through there. But yeah, those tables were packed. Oh, and the Outer Rim game that's going to be coming out. I think it's called Outer Rim.
Yeah, Outer Rim.
But it looks really good too. Let's see.
So did you happen to talk to Joe that we that frequents
I didn't
our
see
store?
Joe at all.
You didn't?
Yeah, I know he got one though.
So have you heard the story of how he got his?
No, I didn't. Please tell me so I can
great.
just despair.
So one of our new players in our community, his name's Joe, and he's an avid war gamer. He, played 40K in AOS, and he's since moved on to Legion because, let's face it, it's way better than those two games. So he was also at Star Wars Celebration, and he didn't wait in line for any of the days for Vader or anything like that. He rolled up on his birthday, no less, and I think it was on Saturday or Sunday, one of the later days.
I think it was Monday, actually. And
Was
I was
it
like,
Monday?
that makes sense because it was the day I had to leave.
Oh, okay.
Because we were driving up to visit family.
Okay,
But,
so
yeah.
he rolls up and starts chatting with one of the girls who works at the FFG booth, and he's like, he's like, hey, do you guys have any more of those Vaders? I heard you guys were selling out. And she's like, do you play Legion? He's like, yeah, I just got into it. Like, check out my Stormtroopers. And he whips out his phone and starts showing like pictures of stuff he's painted. And she's like, oh, well, you know what? Let me talk to somebody.
Oh,
and he
she had like a secret stash.
She comes over and goes, yeah, you need to give me $30 or whatever, and we can give you this pass. And then
I give you $10
and she's like, oh, do you know Sarastro? And he's like, yeah, I love Sarastro. I like follow his painting videos. Oh yeah, you want to meet Sarastro? So he's got photos with Sarastro. Got to chit chat with him. He got a Vader and Joe.
Yeah, man.
That's some Forrest Gump level stuff right there,
seriously.
Right? Yeah.
All right,
but it was his birthday, so it makes
okay. That's
makes
fine.
it okay.
That's cosmic balance there, and I'm glad it went to. And I think I commented on this. So at least it's going to like a really talented painter that's going to be able to do a good job with that figure.
Sure.
So.
But I mean, if you had gotten it, then it would have gone to me, who's an extremely talented painter who would have given it to you anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But I gotta pick my silver linings where I can get them, I guess.
Could have gone to me and I'd have painted it all purple.
Yeah, no.
Did you ever wonder what it looked like if Vader was standing on moon rocks? Here you go.
Yeah, right. But overall, the buzz is really big for Legion, especially Clone Wars stuff. A lot of stuff excited. I think I sent some pictures to you guys, but there was a really cool. They did a diorama. And there was
Scarif board.
Yeah, the Scarif board. They had like 2,500 individual Legion pieces that were involved in that.
That's awesome.
And it was fantastic. And it was getting, basically people would come and they'd pick a section of board and they would build it and then it would get added to the diorama. So it was really, really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw a few people were posting pictures of like, they painted up some shore troopers.
Well, they were doing learn to paint stuff there.
Yeah.
And some of the models they had were just loose shore troopers.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I didn't see that. Damn, I would have.
Like, I'm guessing somewhere there's like some kind of Scrooge McDuckian vault full of shore troopers.
Yeah.
That Alex Davey and Luke.
Look at he just kind of swim through.
Right.
Waiting amongst the shore troopers, yeah. But yeah, I talked to Evan about the Vader. Why was it such limited? But apparently they started the factory on this because they're all cast resin. Mm-hmm. They said that they would turn out like 3 or 4 a day. So they've been working on it for the last couple of months, and like 500 was the most they could come up with.
Wow.
Was talking to another guy named Mike. Let me see. Really nice guy. I was actually standing in line talking to Holly, and he's like, "Hey, I know your voice." And I was like, "No way." Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're Outriders." I was
You're famous.
I was like, "Wow, of all the voices recognized, I'm so sorry it was mine." But
did he ask
really
you to,
nice guy.
Did he ask you to Sharpie autograph his chest?
No, I tried to insist on it, but he wouldn't go for it. So, yeah, he was a little bit more canny than that. But he was saying that he actually went to the Fantasy Flight had like a exhibition, I don't know, a stage time that they went and talked about their stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of skipped it because I was there for more Star Wars stuff, and I thought I knew all the information. But apparently, he got to talk to one of the FFG guys and got one of those. And he was kind of like, hey, these Vaders, they're tough to get a hold of. And any chance it'll be like on the sprue, that when Vader gets redone and they're going to have pose options. And he got the, well, gee, wouldn't that be cool kind of answer.
Okay.
And so they couldn't confirm or deny, but it sounds like that might be. So you still got an exclusive sculpt from Star Wars Celebration, but it sounds like it might be coming out in that multi-kit. Fingers crossed anyways, because it's a really cool sculpt.
Yeah, it looks awesome, all the ones I've seen of it.
Yeah. But
so, even though we're not going to delve too far into the extenuous circumstances of, or other Star Wars stuff, Mandalorian, give us just a quick glimpse. I mean, what was that like?
Dude, yeah, I think the Mandalorian, I don't think they were ready for the amount of people that were just super excited for it.
Yeah.
They kind of sloughed it off to Sunday. It honestly should have been on the Saturday one instead of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for Disney. It looks. I'm sure you guys saw because they leaked a bunch of the trailers from people.
Well,
handy
they leaked
and all
like
that.
a 5-minute hunk of the show.
So I didn't even get to see that. So if you're actually watching the thing, the actual live panel, they were like wrapping up the show, and then Favreau was like, "You guys want to see some more clips?"
Yeah,
and they cut the feed right there. And everybody that was supposed to be, at the celebration was supposed to be able to see that. But I didn't get to because they thought they were wrapping and they didn't start it back up again.
Dude, it looks really good.
I mean, I got to see the handy cam footage you guys all did.
Okay.
It does. I can't wait to see IG-88.
That one moment.
That one moment of him just flipping around. Yeah, if he doesn't get Gunslinger when he gets into this game, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah. But yeah, Mandalorian looks awesome. I think it's eventually going to translate into a new faction.
I
mean, if we're going to see,
maybe.
And I think that's something that we need to talk about because at the there was some stuff going on. It was in the State of the Legion podcast that Fifth Trooper and Scoundrels did.
Yeah.
They said that you're going to get there's at least another faction planned, but then also sub-factions. So I think there's a conversation for us to have there about what we would like sub-factions in this game to look like.
Oh, for sure.
So stay tuned.
But yeah. So yeah, shout out to Mike from Minnesota. He's a Rebel player and an awesome dude. We kept running into each other over the weekend. Also, apologies to Ali Kai, who's on our Discord. And we were going to meet up. I got to meet up with our sister show, the Radio Free Tatooine Network guys in the Galactic War Report. Hung out with them for way too long, had way too many beers, but it was such a fantastic evening. Finally getting to meet these guys because I listen to their podcast, and obviously we're affiliated with them. Super, super sweet dudes. And it was a fantastic evening. Ali, I'm sorry we didn't get to meet up because he was messaging me at 10 o'clock because he was at a panel. I was there till 1:30 in the morning, this packed bar with all these other podcasters just hanging out. And I didn't see his message, so I feel really bad.
Way to go, man.
Yeah, I dropped the ball.
You blew it!
Yeah, well, I was about...
Real quick, favorite moment from the entire experience.
Oh, boy. Meeting... just all the people there and getting to see all the actors. There was a surprise one, actually, that was... and his name's totally blanking. Dave...
Filoni.
No, not Dave Filoni. He's an artist that's been he was huge in the 90s for Star Wars prints and stuff like that.
Okay.
My very good friend Josh, not you, different Josh, one I actually like.
Yeah, we're not good friends. I know. It's fine.
He was there, and apparently I had heard that he had stopped doing conventions, but I got to chat with him for a little bit, and I picked up my first piece of his art, and I'm kicking myself I can't remember his name. Oh, but that was really cool. It was very unexpected because I just kind of turned the corner. I was like, hey, I know all this artwork because my friend has it all. So
nice.
But anyways. But yeah, and then getting to see Anthony Daniels just go on and on forever about his dumb book. That was kind of funny too.
Would you go again?
So funnily enough, they were basically running this every 2 years, but at the end on Monday, they announced it's going to be Anaheim 2020. So the wife wants to go, and I'm not going to tell her no.
Okay.
So I guess we're going again.
I think you've sold me on not going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see it's probably not for,
50,000
Josh, I think
people.
you'd have fun, especially if you went in costume. I think you'd be into it.
Yeah.
John, I don't think it would be, unless you got to sit down next to Sarastro and just paint the entire
time. If I could
time.
spend the weekend just hanging out with Sarastro, having a couple beers and painting some stuff, I'd be in.
I mean, you can make what you want of it. There was enough. So they had some nice sideshow things like the Droid Builders Workshop. It's all the people that sit down and build replica R2s and choppers and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
It was super cool. There was 150 different droids entered to that, and
oh my God.
Yeah, there was B1s got all excited for, and those guys are tall. I didn't realize how tall they were.
The actual...
Yeah, the B1 battle droids.
Yeah, how tall are they?
They're over 6 feet. So,
really?
Yeah. They don't seem like they're that big, but apparently if they're built to scale, as that guy was doing, they're pretty tall.
You glossed over the fact that you got to see Junis... Chewbacca.
Oh yeah, Chewbacca came out on stage. Yeah, it was kind of funny because they were doing a segment for this guy who does props, and he does replica Star Wars cantinas for your living room, and then he'll also do props for Lucasfilm to
nice.
replicas of them. And he was showing off a new full-size Wookiee, mask type thing that he was doing. And Eunice just showed up, and it was like, hey, so I saw you were doing these things, And he just like kicked it on stage for like 20 minutes, just like, so you guys like Wookiees, you know? And they got a like Han Solo or Solo movie 2 chant going, and because I think that was like one of his first movies that he was doing.
No, he did.
He did Force Awakens also,
Yeah.
but I think the Solo movie was where he
They
kind
split
of
the Force Awakens.
Gotcha.
So any of the really
between Peter Mayhew and-
Peter Mayhew did some of like just the sitting down stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's old, and I heard he missed some of.
he
in the
was
hospital.
doing poorly, I guess. So
Well, he's like 7'6",
old.
and like didn't he have like severe back issues where he's like
I'm sure
like almost
it's
wheelchair
pretty
bound,
rough.
like really.
But no, Eunice got to hang out on stage, so it was kind of a thin crowd. So I was like really close, but he got way too excited about firing the T-shirt cannon at people. So it seemed appropriate.
Was it a T-shirt bowcaster?
No, it was like
that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, they were doing it for the entire weekend, but it was like it was Boba Fett-esque. It was
okay.
E3 thing. But
It would have been even better if he came out like wearing a really cheap replica Chewbacca costume. And,
like your onesie.
Yeah, exactly.
But he will try and Wookiee roar like give him half an excuse. He will just like go.
Did he try it?
Oh, many times.
Was it good?
It was okay. Yeah, I mean,
really?
I mean, he's such a narrow man. I mean, I can't really. He doesn't have like.
It's a sound effect, John. It's not.
I mean, he
him
doesn't
really
have the big
voicing it.
robust chest like you do. You know, that hive of bees living right above your diaphragm there.
So who does the voice for it then?
It's a sound effect.
Yeah, it sounds
No.
like so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
What, do you think that was Peter Mayhew? No, it's like a synthesized version of
It's like an elephant
a
with a
dog and a bear.
Hold on.
About like that, you know.
It's not hard to do.
I mean, that's also not what Chewbacca actually sounds like.
No, but I just did that impromptu. If I sat there and like tried it for a while.
But anyways, I'm sorry. We'll wrap up here. We've actually got some Legion stuff to talk about, I'm sure.
So Chewbacca's vocalizations were created from actual field recordings of bears, lions, badgers, and other animals.
Like all mixed together.
Yeah, all mixed.
That's
half man,
awesome.
half bear, half pig. But that is my celebration experience.
I mean, they got to say other animals because it just wouldn't be very Chewbacca to know that they used like a chinchilla call to make this.
Can you do a chinchilla call?
No, I can't.
Hey, chinchilla!
All right. Well, I'm glad you made it back. You know,
Yeah.
wish you'd been in better health, but
Me
thanks
too,
for bringing us all that news. We're gonna take a quick break, and then coming back, we're gonna take a look at some of the things to teach a new player getting into Star Wars Legion.
You're listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network, recorded on location at Power 9 Games. Whether you're looking for the latest releases from Legion, X-Wing, 40K, Magic, or any of our other extensive inventory of board and card games, head to power9games.com and use coupon code OUTRIDER10 to get 10% off your order. Plus, shipping is free on orders over $100. Now, back to the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. All right, so
Outrider X's.
Outrider
X's? No, because that makes it sound like
X-Riders?
like all of our ex-girlfriends.
Yeah,
and
like
wives,
we jilted them
people.
somehow. Outriders X. I don't know. What's the?
Is that like attorneys general?
Yeah, courts martial,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I'm not sure how that works.
How
But
do you
whatever.
pluralize it? Anyway.
Yeah.
So locally here we've seen a pretty big growth. I would say almost like a doubling of the community size of Legion players.
From 3 to 6.
Right? There are dozens of us.
Yeah.
Dozens.
Well, I mean, you ran a tournament over the weekend, too.
Yeah, and past weekend
we were
had,
missing a bunch of regulars, but we still had like 8 people there plus you to run it. So that's fantastic.
So we had a good turnout, and those weren't even including like 5 or 6 of the people who I've personally taught the game over the last probably month and a half. So and on Legion Facebook page, we're seeing a lot of the same kind of questions. You know, hey, I'm just buying into this game, got a new core set. What's next? So, Josh, I guess what would you recommend from an Imperial player standpoint to a new player who's getting into the game?
So, I mean, if you're just picking up a core box, right? Definitely you're grabbing Veers, Boba. I would pass for the time being on the ATST. I don't think it's really that necessary right now. And of course, it's a hobby game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you play whatever you want, right? Play what you think is fun. But if you're looking at it from am I going to be kind of competitive
Sure.
You can make an ATST competitive, but it's hard. Veers, Boba, definitely. Maybe 2 to 3 units of stormtroopers or snowtroopers. Sorry. Another couple boxes of stormtroopers. I would have at least 6 stormtroopers. To come with the game, so you're getting like 4 more boxes of stormtroopers. 3 strike teams for sure. Because you want, or 3 scouts because you want snipers.
Sure, it's nice to be able to hey, I'll just buy everything. Like, there's one guy that did that, and it's like, wow, okay, that's incredible, but not the most economical thing. But I think as you progress, trying to get up to 800 points, I mean, that's really just kind of the barometer of when you can start playing at a competitive level.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people have brought up that is this a good time to get in because it's kind of daunting to get into a game. Is it too am I too late?
Right.
No, not at all. Like right now really is an okay time to do it.
Yeah, no, and there's plenty of good stuff out there. You've got a lot of there's only 2 factions. If you're getting in right now, I think that's got to be part of the equation. Do you keep your powder dry until one of the Clone Wars factions drop, or do you get in right now, or are you going to play Gotta Catch 'Em All? Right. Yeah. If you're getting in right now, it's not bad. There's a lot of options. I would definitely try and play some demo games and get with a buddy who has a bunch of stuff and can let you borrow it, so you can find out what you like and what you want to play. That was the big daunting thing for me with X-Wing. I came in at like wave 7.
Sure.
And I just ended up buying like 2 of everything eventually. You kind of need to do that with that game system because of the cards, but it's like trying to get into Warhammer, right? It's like play a couple of games with some friends' armies so you can see what your play style is.
Proxy some stuff if you need to.
Right.
Tabletop Simulator is another great alternative for being able to try out units before you buy them if you're on a budget. And also just gain some experience. With these games I've run for some of the newer players, naturally we started out with 300-400 point games on a 3x3 table, and obviously, as we all know, those first few games we played, the game plays a lot differently on a 6x3.
Yeah, you get the basic mechanics, but it is an entirely different game.
Yeah, because just yesterday I was playing with Skiri, and he's like, hey, man, I play on these 3x3 with my coworker, and man, Vader's so overpowered. I was like, oh,
let me
my sweet
introduce
summer
you.
child.
Let me introduce you to Long March on a 6x3.
Yeah.
So that's what I tried to explain to him is you really got to experience the game on a 6x3. You need to play with missions and with objectives and things like that before you really can get a full feel for the game. Now, one of the things that we haven't really touched on, I think probably since the first couple episodes, was getting into the command cards themselves and building your deck.
Or battle cards.
Battle cards. Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Building your deck and coming up with what works for my list, what works for my army.
You mean you just don't randomly shuffle them together and like, okay, those ones are the one we're doing?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's an approach.
It is, but probably not the best one, and it's a good way to go 0-4 at LVO.
Yes. I think step 1 on my way to along the path.
So, looking at just the deployment cards alone, okay, I mean, the way that you build your army, I think, can decide a lot at what deployment cards are going to work for you. Obviously, like you said with Vader, you don't want to have Long March. That's probably not a good idea.
But, I mean, the converse to that is if you're running a Veers list, Veers Boba, something like that, Long March isn't actually bad because you've got a lot of range 4. Just with DLTs, you can start to hit the edge of the engagement area a little bit earlier than they can. So, you've got more options.
So what of the 5 deployment types do you like to leave out of your list?
Which one?
Yeah.
I hate disarray. Again, as an Imperial player, we just got second commanders. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, Imperial officer out of the specialist pack makes it sort of viable, but not really. Disarray is always a hard one to do when you don't have 2 commanders. So disarray is almost always out.
Sure.
On my deck.
Now, conversely, I like to run Han, Leia, Chewie. I think it's probably my favorite list. I also normally would not want to run Disarray because you want to have all of them together. But sometimes it's not too bad to take Disarray and throw out a decoy unit. Just a throwaway unit that might make your opponent counter deploy, and then you actually divert the rest of your unit somewhere else.
Right. Everything's dependent on terrain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't like Disarray. It's just, I don't care for it.
How about you?
It seems like one that you need to have a specific list in mind if you're going to play it, and then so you can plan around it, but then how much are you devoting your list to play that you may not get Disarray as an option?
Exactly. And like you said, with something like Long March, if you have a ranged heavy list, if you've got 3 sniper squads, if you've got, some range 4 at one FD turret, if you've got, Death Troopers or Pathfinders or something that's, exclusively made for something that can cover that long range, Long March might be something you want to shoot for.
Yeah.
Now, with the mission cards themselves, like those are the ones that really I think can have a huge impact on what you bring to the table. If you're running a Jin list, Recover the Supplies needs to be in your deck.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
For the box grab. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. Which of these do you usually like to avoid? I know Breakthrough and Sabotage the Moisture Evaporators tend to be the one that, people either take one or the other out.
Right. I usually leave Sabotage out just because I find as a objective for me, for my play style, it's just too fiddly, right? Let's get over here and use an action to do this, and it's just too much for me. I like Intercept, I like Key Position, something that's just like King of the Hill.
But the old loot and scoot, that works really well for Jin.
For Jin of Pathfinders, Now, granted, we all know that there's ways to counter that.
Sure. Recover's fun.
Yep.
But anything I like, my personal play style is just kind of like dig in, absorb, and then counter. So, the ones that allow me to get into a position and shoot at you as you try and grab that center objective in key positions. Ones like that are the ones that I generally prefer.
What about you, Matt? What are your favorite mission objective or mission cards to play?
Ideally, if I ever... So I rarely put Breakthrough in because I tend to have lower activation.
I was going to say,
lists.
you ran like Palp and Vader together, which
that was fun for a little while. Yeah, so Breakthrough obviously is right out, and then Long March also, as we mentioned, because I think I still have one sniper team. Eventually, I'll probably add some more in there, because they are just super effective.
Yeah.
But just knowing what your list is capable of, and I change lists all the time, so I'm constantly having to reevaluate, okay, is this going to work? Or just, as I said earlier, just kind of shuffling them all together and say, okay, here we go, wee! Because it's also good to practice against, you're not always going to be the one laying down the deployment cards, especially if you don't have much of a bid. So you need to be at least conversant with the other scenarios and know what you have a backup plan for in case they get pulled.
Sure. See, and for me, I actually like to run Breakthrough a lot because I think it plays well into what Rebels can do. And I also think that because I like to play higher activation costs or higher activation lists outside of Han, Leia, Chewie.
Yeah.
I think it works better, and you can, kind of play to.
I like the idea of the scenario. It's just rarely do I have a list that, unless I'm like
caters to it.
Really trying to play that goal line defense and just shoot everybody before they get across the line, and then running people in last second. It rarely works out that well though.
But I think if you build a list to cater to one of these scenarios, it really it can work. Now, granted, you're gonna have to be versatile because you're never going to guarantee yourself having that card. But taking a bid definitely helps being able to increase your chances of getting it. One of the ones that I like to play the most, and I don't think a lot
Key
of people
positions
like
with Vader.
God, no. Rapid reinforcements.
See, I hate rapid reinforcements.
And a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people. Do you like rapid reinforcements?
It's okay. I mean, I'd
rather play Minefield.
It's not my absolute favorite, but it gives you a lot of tactical flexibility that you can, I think I played a game of Rapid with Matt once. Was our LVO, was that Rapid?
I think it was.
Yeah. And, I just I'll take my flame troopers and I will just set them off to the side, and now you've got to sit there and wonder where I'm going to deep strike a unit of flamethrowers, close to your backfield, and then move them in the next turn and barbecue you. It's a good tactic to take a high threat unit and deep strike them and use them and kind of use that as a way to kind of keep your opponent hemmed in.
Do you think Wookiees would be good for that kind of role?
Wookiees are great for that role.
Yeah.
That was probably the reason why I like to play it so often. My background with 40K, I played a lot of Space Wolves, and I used a lot of Space Wolves coming in deep strike on in drop pods, and that's kind of how I like to have that X factor that your opponent doesn't know where it's going to end up, and they kind of got to keep their stuff spread out because of it. So Wookiees are perfect for that because you deploy outside range 2. I like to find a nice piece of line of sight blocking terrain just outside range 2.
Right.
Drop them back there, and then the next turn have them come around and start shooting.
Unhindered expert climber, you're just whoop right over it.
And that's I think where the Wookiee's real strength lies. But the same thing works great with fleet troopers. Something that can shoot a lot of dice within range 2.
Yep.
And you just want to just drop right outside range 2 and move in. I think that's a really good way to use it. And I think a lot of opponents don't really play it enough to really know how to defend against it.
Yeah, and especially if you can play activation control, where you're making sure that you're not putting them down with your third activation of the round, right?
Yeah, and that's
valuable too.
Exactly, and I think for new players, one thing that you need to make sure you look at or inform new players of if you're playing against them, the cards that come with the box set are not the actual cards for rapid reinforcements and for key positions. Now we were lucky enough that at LVO they gave us the updated versions of the cards, so I've kind of taken that for granted. But just in this tournament this past weekend, I was playing with one of the guys who plays locally who didn't play at LVO and didn't have the updated card, and I actually had to show him.
I'm like, no.
The rule on
different.
Key positions is actually different. So that's one thing you want to make sure you inform new players that, hey, like you've got the Learn to Play guide in your box, but maybe check out the FFG webpage and actually check out the rules update because, that's a living document.
Well, and that was something that was on the Legion Facebook group this past week also, where somebody. I'm a new player. I'm really disappointed with the lack of clear rules in the game, and somebody had to say, it's like, yo, dude, the rule, that's just the Learn to Play. The rules are online, and they were just kind of like, oh, okay, cool, okay, and once they explained it's a living document, easier to do online. They didn't print one. He was like,
I thought there was
cool.
a printed one that came with the core set. I mean, it's been a while since we opened up.
No, it's just
Really?
just the Learn to Play.
Could have sworn
Because we printed it.
Oh, that's
remember?
right, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
which is grossly outdated by now.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll see new rules, updates coming out with the Clone Troopers unit, with the Clone Wars units.
Yay!
So we're gonna have to get new updated versions of that anyway.
Yeah, and we'll probably see another update to it soon. Also.
Oh yeah, so, I'm sure we're going to be getting all sorts
Before
of new
clones,
rules. Yeah,
but-
in prep for that.
Bosk and
Sabine will have
all kinds of
rules that have to be
yeah.
in there. So yeah.
And they're gonna have to clarify some of the stuff that, because I actually was just informed this past week by LJ that I was interpreting a rule wrong because I had come up with an interesting list.
This week in is that how that works?
So Matt, I don't think you were in on this conversation. So Josh was the victim of my musings at work.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to come up with the jankiest of jank lists.
Oh, exciting!
Oh, and he did.
So what I wanted to do was take Chewbacca, Luke,
I like it so far.
Han,
Okay.
and a speeder, the terrestrial slipper,
Okay, sure.
and start all of them, kind of near each other. And first turn, throw Luke's My Ally is the Force,
Oh, okay.
which gives 2 dodge tokens
Yeah,
to each
okay.
of them. And then have Han activate and do an aim and a dodge,
Yeah.
which gives each of them an aim and a dodge.
Yeah.
And then have Chewie go, take a dodge, and get in the speeder.
Yes.
All right. So this speeder is basically naked. No, I'm not throwing any weapons on there. Not going to, no extraneous spending. And basically,
Extraneous?
Thank you. Throw a comms jammer on there. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then,
I do recall this
and
now.
then put Chewie in this. Okay. Race it up the board. So because I was interpreting the rule, because it states in the current edition of the
that the
rules
tokens
guide,
go away and get put to the side.
exactly.
Right.
So you put Chewie and all of those tokens, like 4 dodges and a name, off to the side, and then when he comes back on the table, those tokens join him.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
I see where you're going, and
there's a contradicting line in the rules guide that says that those tokens actually go away as normal at the end of the turn.
right.
So
It was a cute idea though. Load them up with this dodge bomb.
and then have him get out. But
Yeah.
the idea is not dead yet, though.
Oh,
because
okay. You're gonna try?
Even without the tokens, put Chewie in a speeder, throw a comms jam on there, and fly it at your opponent's lines. Okay, it's only a 70-point speeder, so it's really not worth dumping all of it. Also, put the outer rim jockey on there, so you can cover too.
All right.
So it's not really worth dumping all of your units' fire on it. But then again, you're flying around with a comms jammer and displacing units by using your compulsory move to land on them. So it's going to be annoying. If you shoot it down, well, guess what? You wasted a bunch of firepower on it, and now Chewie gets out with 6 wounds on him already, enraged, in your backfield.
Oh, okay, that's funny. I forgot about the enraged part. I was like, but then you're not using Chewie. It's like, oh no, you're daring them to shoot Chewie, so he starts enraged.
He basically just comes out of there like you've seen Mystery Men, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where Mr. Furious is just jumping up on the
yeah,
car.
yeah.
That's Chewie in this model.
So I'm basically just imagining the situation where Chewbacca and this other Wookiee pilot are flying around alone in this speeder, just yelling obscenities in Shriwook at every model in your opponent's army as they're flying circles around it, and then he gets out and just runs at them.
Dude, where's my car?
What's mine say?
Sweet.
Yeah.
So it's probably a terrible list.
I mean,
it's not going to win anything.
Probably, but still, that sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's going to be very characterful for how I want to play my Wookiees.
Okay, that's a bunch of shrieking, Wookiees coming out of the
And if you
woodwork.
ignore it, I mean, it's not going to be doing a lot of damage to you, but it's going to be really annoying.
That's true.
A true Outrider list.
Yeah, just annoy people.
It's not going to do much, but it'll be annoying.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, you're getting ready for Sabine.
Yeah.
How's your Rebels viewing been going?
Oh, yeah, so I got to give those back to you because I powered
finished?
through both first 2 seasons of Rebels.
Wow.
And it's good.
Congratulations. Good.
See?
I enjoyed it.
I'm so excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
Our boy's all grown up.
So when are you buying the 3rd and 4th season?
Pretty soon, actually, probably.
Okay,
so,
good. Yeah, I need to get on that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hurry up and buy it so I can watch it.
So you can watch it. Got it.
It's your friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not that we encouraging
advocate.
pirating
No,
or streaming.
absolutely
Yarr!
No.
But I'm not waiting till November for Disney Plus to crank it out. So.
Oh, God, no.
Is it November? I thought it was
Yeah,
October.
November.
Oh, no, it is November. That's right.
$6.99 though.
Dude,
Not a
I'm
bad
okay
deal.
with that. Yeah. That's, and with Mandalorian, holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I like the show. I enjoy it. Character's cool, Sabine, and so I will probably be playing and buying and
There you go, man.
not just, wasting time painting for no reason.
Right on. One other thing I realized we forgot to mention, but the Gavwa occupier tank in X3 for Landslipper is coming out next week.
Yeah.
So finally. I saw them for sale at Celebration too. I was very tempted, but they
You didn't buy them?
No, because I get a pretty good discount owning a game store, so I was just going to wait. And they had
them to lord it over us.
They had the new RPG books for Star Wars.
Did you buy those?
So I bought those.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So we got
Side note: We're running a
Star Wars
Edge of the
RPG
Empire / Forces of Rebellion campaign. So it's been fun so far.
I've been having fun.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry. Was there anything?
Thanks for
else
the
you would
invite,
like
guys.
Dude, you were invited, and you said no. So just like that. No. So anything else we want to talk about with the mission cards?
No, not really.
got
I
it
think
all.
kind of
wonder
talked
if-
about those. But
Do we know if they're going to have new missions in the
No,
new core set?
they're not.
Not
They're
in the
not.
core
It's
set.
going to be
Yep.
the same. Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's cool.
But they
I'm
said
okay with that. More
they
priority
said-
resources, or whatever.
Yeah, well, they
type
said
thing.
don't discount the. I think what they said was don't discount the idea of a pack of cards similar to the upgrade cards that they're going to do. That'll just be mission cards.
In the
Which would be
future,
kinda cool.
Yeah.
if and when they do release more battle cards, because I do hope they do come out with more, I hope they do them very sparingly. Like
Yeah.
maybe a trio a year. Like come out
Sure.
with one of each
Yeah,
a year.
I'm
you
okay
know?
with that.
that'll
It'd be interesting if they did like a seasons type thing, like, okay, this season is going to be blah blah blah, or something. I don't know.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Because I think having more variety with it is good. But honestly, I think that the ones that they have right now are great.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're different enough, but not to the extent where they're going to discount like an army. It's like someone's not going to be able to play it.
Yeah, I mean, and the more variables you have in there, the more chance there is for abuse on it too. So.
Sure.
I would like to see some of the scenarios like that are coming out of the operations that they do, where like the blue player starts like confined in the middle of the board, and everybody else is ringed around them, and you got to break out. And, I'd
love to see
like
non-official ones like that, or like scenario-based book or something, or like a mini campaign. That's actually something I was told that you were looking into running here.
Yeah, I think in addition to doing our tournaments, I think it'd be kind of cool if we do more narrative things, kind of like they have with the Down ATST set.
Yeah,
they're going to have like that 2-part narrative battle in it. I think that's something that would be kind of fun just to come up with for our own. We talked about doing with Hoth.
It'd be great to play that, man. Josh, I'm sorry you got your kids that weekend, so.
Yeah, I know.
It's
all right.
But yeah, we'll figure out ways that we can incorporate
we'll have to do
some
a
more
Friday
of that
night
too.
or something for you.
But we got some Patreon stuff, right?
Yes, we have a couple new Patreon guys that have pledged their support to the show. So thank you very much to Richard College and Zachary Remington Krieger.
Awesome.
Herr Krieger, thank you. But they came in at the Outrider level, so thanks, guys. And thank you to the continuing support for all the other guys. We got some more funds inflowed, so I think we're looking at doing those Barricada shirts here real soon.
Awesome.
So TM. Yeah.
Trademark.
Oh, yeah.
Soon, as people do. But, yeah.
Good deal. Well, thanks, guys, for listening this week. Check back with us next week. Maybe we'll have some more news from FFG.
Actually, we'll talk about Legion next time, maybe.
Yeah. Well, also, I know I for sure tomorrow will be driving down to LA and getting to hang out with our 2 BFFs of the show, LJ Pena and Nick Freeman.
Oh, boy.
So
Scum of Hive and Villainy Cantina.
Exactly.
Star Wars Cantina.
Yeah. So we're going to go hang out there. I will be actually playing in the tournament at the Perky Nerd, I think it's called.
Yes. They've got
down in
LA.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening and you're going to be at the Perky Nerd tomorrow, swing by and say hi. I'll be the obnoxious tall dude.
Tomorrow? Well, it's Saturday.
It'll be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
For them.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday. Yeah.
Time dilation.
On Saturday, April 20th. Let me clarify.
We are also locked into the St. George Rally Point.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least he and I are. Are you going?
I guess so. Do they have tickets up?
I don't know. No.
Okay.
But I said reserve us 2 spots. I didn't know.
Who'd you say
I just
that
messaged
to?
the game store on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So next month that'll be going on in St. George, Utah. But we'll probably make some more Rally Point
announcements here soon.
I think. Yeah. Because ours isn't until October.
Yeah. Right. So we should
have
all the new stuff. So
I'm stoked about that, but I'm looking like I think one of the last ones of the year is the one that's in Wisconsin.
Oh boy.
And
it's December, right?
Yeah, it's December. So
Yeah.
they'll have like 3 waves of Clone Wars stuff out by that time, I would imagine.
It should be fun.
Yeah.
All
right, guys. So thanks for listening. We'll check you next week.
You've been listening to the Legion Outriders podcast, a member of the Radio Free Tatooine Network.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
For more from the Outriders, make sure you like us on Twitter at Legion Outriders, subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Legion Outriders, and make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.